Hello and welcome to GC360. I'm Joby Peoples.
And I'm Cole Rogers. Stick around for the next half hour. We'll have the latest in Millersville news, entertainment, and sports. First, election news. Big wins in Georgia for Republicans. Despite heavy early voting that some pundits said favored Democrats, Republican Governor Nathan Deal won re-election over Democrat Jason Carter, the grandson of the former president, and Republican David Perdue defeated Democrat Michelle Nunn for the U.S. Senate. Nunn is daughter of former Senator Sam Nunn. The win helped the GOP regain control of the Senate.
Sexual assault is a very big problem that is talked about very little. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, 1 out of 6 American women has been or will be a victim. Even more women are subjects of gender discrimination. But there are places set up as safe havens for these women, and one of them is right here at Georgia College. GC360's Kenzie Morgan has the story.
Only 3 public colleges or universities in Georgia have a women's center. Georgia College is one of them.
You look at some of the other states in the Midwest or the Northeast, and every single college campus and university has a women's center.
Graham founded the center 10 years ago. She explains what a women's center is.
Places of safety for women, places of where we have a huge emphasis on gender equity.
The GC Center started on a small scale with volunteer workers. Today, it has a full-time position as well as multiple student workers and assistants.
The Women's Center is kind of like my baby. You know, my daughter was born after I started the Women's Center, and so it's just always kind of been a thing. But it's exciting. It's exciting to see how far we've come.
One important part of the Women's Center is Project Brave, a comprehensive violence prevention program that started last year.
We got a $300,000 grant from the U.S. Department of Justice's Office on Violence Against Women. It's a really competitive grant. We're one of 27 schools selected out of over almost 150 applicants.
The money is used for projects aimed at preventing violence against women.
That's going to teach people the skills that when they see risky situations, how they can safely intervene and help protect themselves, help protect their friends.
Women earn 78 cents for every dollar that a man makes on average, according to Graham. 10 years ago, women made 77 cents for every dollar earned by a man. That's not a lot of progress. Graham says the overall treatment of women in society and the media hasn't changed notably either in the last decade.
On a personal note, these things are super, super important to me because when I was in high school, I was sexually assaulted. And so that was kind of the my entry point, I guess, into these issues of gender equity. I didn't have the greatest experience in terms of having people around me to support me, kind of other than my immediate family.
She wants the Women's Center to be a safe harbor for women who experience any kind of sexual assault. It's located in the basement of the Smith House near the dorms.
So the Women's Center is one of 2 places where a survivor of gender-based or sexual assault or dating, domestic violence, stalking can come and have that conversation be confidential. Here in counseling services.
Graham first came to Georgia College as an undergraduate student. She still appreciates having the campus as her workplace.
I love working here. I love working with students. I think that's probably my favorite thing about working here, is I love working with college students, and I love that every day is different.
The Women's Center celebrates its 10th anniversary in March. This is Kenzie Morgan reporting for GC360.
Honoring soldiers is an American tradition. There are all kinds of ways to pay tribute, but a Georgia College class is doing it in a way that involves an art exhibit and an artist from San Francisco. GC360's Katie Riggs has that story.
Citizen Soldier is an art exhibit focused on bringing attention to experiences of soldiers who have returned home from war. But it's more than that. It's an important part of the GC1Y class, Public and Collective Memory. Katie Simon, an assistant professor in the English department, teaches the class. Students found veterans to research and created projects about them. Then, San Francisco-based artist Jack Leamy created paintings of the veterans to go along. Here at GC360.
Okay, Citizen Soldier is a really big interdisciplinary project. Began by the artist Jack Leamy, a San Francisco-based artist, and he interviews soldiers and about the process of returning. They're actually veterans, and the process of returning from war. So the transition back to being a citizen from having been a soldier.
Simon and Leamy are longtime friends. Leamy was inspired to show how veterans become part of society once again.
So the vision was that I would interview soldiers and build an archive. I work as a shoe shiner, and we tried to hire this guy, a soldier, and he said something, and I had just started developing this idea of an interdisciplinary project that involved social critique, but as an American and as an artist, and how do I tell a story through art and make it real, and what is my subject? That's always the question. What are you going to paint about? What do you want to say? And since I was a little kid, there's just been warfare.
Students presented their projects on their chosen veterans at the exhibit as well.
Okay, this is the Citizen Soldier project. We did it for our GC1Y class. It's called Public and Collective Memory. And we just interviewed soldiers and asked them kind of like about their transition from being in the military to coming back to America and like going into society.
For many students, this project was an eye-opening experience.
I've learned that I guess broaden my horizons, like think outside the box, because I'm used to just thinking like a certain way, but then this whole class, like through this project and through readings and things that we've done, that there are other perspectives on certain things, and that I should just like be open to understanding those, yeah.
Students were not the only ones who benefited from the project.
Oh, it has been terrific. It is so good to see that students come here and ask questions and really benefit from the knowledge and experiences of the veterans, of people who have served this country over the years.
Georgia College students, Professor Simon, and artist Jack Leamy have all been thrilled with the outcome of this project.
If you have enthusiasm, that's spiritual power that's moving you, like inspired spirit in. Yeah, so I think they're fired up. Yeah.
For GC360, this is Katie Riggs.
Pitcher, shortstop, first baseman.
Frankenstein? Some unusual characters were seen playing baseball on the GC field last week. Find out why when we come back.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
So, concert.
Same time next week?
Well, of course.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Welcome back to the show. Halloween was last weekend and Milledgeville was buzzing with fun costumes, crazy dancing, and scary haunted houses.
Not only did Halloween happen this weekend, but Jessa Duggar, one of the 19 kids from the TLC hit show 19 Kids and Counting, got married to her fiancé, Ben Seawald, over the weekend. The Duggars have a unique way of doing things and chose to save their first kiss for that special day.
We wanted to know what GC students thought about saving their first kiss for marriage. Take a look at what they said.
I think it's really up to the couple, but personally, I think you should establish if you have a connection with someone before you marry them. So I personally wouldn't do it, but whatever floats your boat.
Well, depending on your values, I do think it's reasonable, but for most people, I feel like they'd find that extremely unreasonable just because, I don't know, it's kind of like a kiss, and it's just pretty basic. And myself, no, I've already had my first kiss, I think back in 2nd grade, so.
I'm not sure that's a possible feat, in all honesty. I think that when a couple is together, there's going to be some moments that are extremely intimate and private, that a kiss is going to be inevitable. I personally know that there's no way that my first kiss will be on my wedding day.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's their choice, so if they find it reasonable, then that's up to them. Me, I'm not sure.
For me personally, I would say I would wait to at least engagement to maybe share a first kiss with my future fiance. That's just to protect both of our hearts so that we don't overcommit before we actually, say we're ready to spend the rest of our lives together.
Mondays aren't so bad when you have trivia night to look forward to. I had the chance to participate in the fun. Hosted by SGA and the Gift Center, trivia night happens every Monday at 10:30 at Michi's. A percentage of the proceeds from the night are donated to SGA as well. Vouchers and prizes are given out to winning teams. Unfortunately, my team lost, but I had a lot of fun and will definitely be back in hopes of winning a prize.
Another fun thing to check out is Georgia College's ATSO Spirit Night this Thursday, hosted at Chick-fil-A from 5 to 8 p.m. ATSO is the Athletic Training Student Association here at Georgia College.
So, let's talk about someone who's been a Twitter sensation.
Yes, Amanda Bynes. She's known for posting bizarre things on her Twitter account. The tweets stopped for a while, but started back up in October. According to CNN, she tweeted Tuesday that she has been diagnosed as bipolar and manic depressive.
I was a huge Amanda Bynes fan. I love the Amanda Show, and I think you guys actually look alike. So.
Yeah, she's my celeb lookalike.
So it's pretty heartbreaking.
Oh, yeah.
But batter up, when the Georgia College baseball players stepped up to bat last week, they were dressed a little differently than normal. They partnered with health services to put on a different kind of baseball game that was a scary good time. GC360's Julia Ward was there to get the story.
Play ball, Halloween ball. Georgia College baseball players sported their wackiest Halloween costumes and played ball last Thursday at the 5th annual Halloween on the Hill.
We just put on this event for the kids in the community. It's crafts, games, activities, and the baseball team puts on. It's a baseball game where they're all dressed up as the kids to enjoy.
Georgia College Health Services students set up booths, games, and the crowd favorite, a bouncy house, which was open to the public. Healthy snacks were also provided. It all happened at John Kurtz Field.
The 5th year, it's a great program. We got a great turnout, again, as always, from the community. And our student athletes really get into this so well. They just do a great job.
At the end of the scrimmage, children served as judges and chose which Bobcat baseball player wore the best costume. The event has been a great way to bring together the Georgia College and Milledgeville communities.
The boys brought home a flyer and they just wanted to come and kind of see what it was all about.
It was another home run for Halloween on the Hill. This is Julia Ward reporting.
That's entertainment for this week.
Now back to Joby on the news desk.
Thanks, Caitlin and Mackie. After the break, basketball season is upon us. We'll look at the prospects for our women's team. Don't go away.
Oh!
Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Hello and welcome to this edition of GC360 Sports, which will include stats and scores from all your favorite teams in the Milledgeville area. And later on, we'll take a close look inside the Georgia College women's basketball team's upcoming season and their opening game against Clemson. But first, let's start with Georgia College sports. The GC women's soccer team hosted two incredibly important games this weekend to finish out their regular season play. The Cats took on both Georgia Southwestern and Flagler College at Bobcat Field. They needed 2 wins to get to the Peach Belt Conference tournament, and that's exactly what they got. After struggling throughout the season, the Bobcats finally caught fire, defeating Georgia Southwestern 8-0 in what was easily their largest margin of victory this season. Senior midfielder Ashley Valou scored a hat trick, leading the Bobcats to victory over the Canes. On Senior Day, the Bobcats took on Flagler College in a fight for the last position in the PBC tournament. The game went into overtime, and neither team could find a goal in the first 90 minutes. The Bobcats' excitement came off the foot of midfielder Allie Berries as she dribbled the ball past the last defender, scored the game-winning goal, which kept the season alive for the Bobcats. In other Georgia College sports news, the Bobcat volleyball team dropped 2 games this weekend against UMC Pembroke and Francis Marion. The Cats lost to UNC Pembroke 3-2 and Francis Marion in straight sets 3-0. It's been tough sledding for Coach Crumdick and the Bobcats as the team's last win came all the way back on October 3rd. The team will play their final game of the season Wednesday night on the road against GRU Augusta. They lost the previous matchup against the Jaguars 3-2 earlier in October. The Georgia College golf team released their schedule for the upcoming season this weekend. The team will play in 5 tournaments this season, the first of which will be on February 9th and 10th at the Matlock Intercollegiate, hosted by Florida Southern College. The Bobcats finished second in the Peach Belt last season and have high hopes of winning it this year. And now it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for, the announcement of this week's Stellar Standout. GC360 Stellar Standout Award goes to Allie Berries, the junior midfielder for the Georgia College women's soccer team. In the 16th minute of the overtime period, Berries received a pass from teammate Abby Dalton and buried the ball in the back of the net to send her team to the Peach Belt Conference tournament. Without her stellar finish, the Bobcats may not have advanced to postseason play. Congratulations, Allie, on being this week's Stellar Standout. As we reported a few minutes ago, the Georgia College women's basketball team is about to start their season. It all gets going on Saturday against the Clemson Tigers. GC360's Mallory Stinson has more.
The Georgia College women's basketball team is about to open their season on the road against Clemson University. They've been working hard in practice to prepare for this exhibition.
We usually go for a couple of hours. We might go a little over a couple of hours, but for the most part, we're 6 days a week and 2 hours per day.
Going up against a Division I opponent is a tough task for any team. Though the Bobcats represent a smaller school, they are certainly up for the challenge.
We're pretty excited. We just want to see, how we match up. We have nothing to lose, and we're going in there as if we want to beat this team. And Clemson's been beat by a Division II team, so I don't think we're outmatched or anything. We may be undersized, but as far as skill level, I think we'll be fine.
Though the team has been working to prepare their newest members for the upcoming season, the Bobcats are not at all lacking confidence in their seniors' ability to lead the team.
Take the pieces that we had last year and improve on those. There are a good bit of seniors on this team, so we have experience.
They bring you that valuable leadership, mentorship, and just leadership that you really need on and off the floor. Players with experience, you just can't put a price tag on that.
Senior leadership and experience has definitely contributed to the importance of the team's overall skill level, but the new players' ability to easily transition into the team is what has really benefited the Bobcats and made them a family.
Our team is really tight-knit family. We're a pretty older team this year. We're pretty experienced, so it's just fun to have a group to not only practice and play with, but also get along with.
Well, as you can see, the Georgia College women's basketball team has developed a close relationship among one another due to their practice schedule. The team looks great so far and are well on their way to a great season. The Bobcats will take on the Clemson Tigers this Saturday at 2 p.m. I'm Mallory Stinson reporting for GC360.
That's all I've got for sports this week here on GC360. I'll see you next week. Joby, what do you have next for us on GC360?
Well, Josh, coming up after the break, some traveling musicians came to town. Who are they and where did they come from? A hint, it wasn't around the corner. Stay tuned.
Oh! Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Georgia College. With a typical schedule that has them performing in one state today and another tomorrow, this group has something special to show the world. And like I said, they brought it to Georgia College. GC360's Shayna Vennick has the story.
Okay, here, hold on. Don't reveal any, yeah. No, like...
Seen here rehearsing for their performance at Georgia College, the Verismo Trio shows what they had in store for their audience. The Georgia College Music Department presented the group last Tuesday in the Max Noah Recital Hall. They called the performance Fresh Ink, and they've come a long way.
We're very excited to have the Verismo Trio here tonight from the University of Wyoming performing. It's going to be a very interesting program.
Filming was not allowed during the performance, but we managed to catch the trio while they were rehearsing. The trio was founded in 2010 after performers Nicole, Riner, Scott Turpin, and Theresa Bogard spent a joyous month learning, performing, and recording together. But where does the word Verismo come from?
Verismo is actually, largely, it's a name that kind of floats around in musical styles when you're talking about the late 19th, early 20th century in opera.
The trio toured the Rocky Mountain region from Wyoming to Denver, introducing new sound concepts and new composers to audiences young and old. One of their biggest accomplishments came when they performed at a festival in Brazil as part of the 2012-2013 season.
We're playing University of South Carolina tomorrow, and then we're coming back to Georgia to do Mercer.
All proceeds are considered donations and go toward the trio's first recording together.
The end project of this tour is this recording that we're going to make, and it'll be our first CD as a trio.
This one we're using to fund a recording that we're making of all the works you're going to hear tonight.
Good luck to the trio on the rest of their tour. This has been Shayna Vennick reporting for GC360.
The trolley was once a means of transportation in Milledgeville. Today, it sits still across from front campus, looking historic and quaint, but it comes to life for Halloween. Although the only tours riders got were trolley tours of terror. GC360's Abby Kaler has that scary story.
Oh gosh, I love everything about Marion. He's a psycho, and I do like to play a psycho.
Marion is just one of the ghostly characters who make Milledgeville's haunted trolley go. There's more behind the characters in the tour than just the makeup and costumes.
I play Molly Walker. She's married to Sam Walker, who was reported as like the meanest man in Milledgeville.
If you have been on the haunted trolley tour before, you may see an unfamiliar character this year.
My character is Patrick Kane, frequently drunk Irishman, and the only citizen of Milledgeville to die in the defense of it during the Civil War.
The actors aren't doing this just for the pizza. They say performing for the haunted trolley is one of the best experiences they can have in Milledgeville. They love to scare, and they love to see people's reactions.
Seeing all the ghosts, I mean, they are so passionate about their characters.
I mean, Miss Molly, by golly, she's something else.
The trolley tours took passengers through the city, and the nighttime trips for adults went to the cemetery. For Milledgeville residents, students, or visitors, the haunted trolley was eagerly anticipated.
Well, I heard about it for the last few years, and I always heard that it's a lot of fun, so we drove over from Byron and got our tickets to go tonight.
If you missed this year's tour, there's always next Halloween. This is Abby Kaler reporting for GC360.
Oh no! Please!
It may be the biggest house in town. It sits just one block from the GC campus, looking regal and historic. But many who walk by it every day may not know its story. GC360's Sarah Ziegler brings it to you in this week's GC History Minute.
The old governor's mansion was built in 1839. The state's leaders who lived in the mansion used it as a residence, a house for visiting political leaders, and a stage for speeches. Toward the end of the Civil War, Union General William T. Sherman seized the mansion and briefly used it as a headquarters. That was on November 23, 1864, as Sherman paused his campaign of burning as he marched his troops to the sea. The government of Georgia relocated to Atlanta in 1864, leaving the mansion abandoned. And in 1889, the building was given over to Georgia Normal and Industrial College, where it served as a dormitory. A renovation of the mansion started in the late 1990s to return the mansion to its original state. The Georgia General Assembly and the Woodruff Foundation funded the 8-year renovation process. The old governor's mansion is now a museum that showcases Georgia's history between 1839 and 1868. It serves as a reminder of Milledgeville's importance in history. That's your Georgia College History Minute. I'm Sarah Ziegler.
So Cole, what did you do this Halloween?
I went home and one of my friends was having a Halloween party, so a lot of like my high school buddies were all there, and we had a fun time.
Did you dress up or anything?
Yeah, I did.
What were you?
I was one of the characters from The Hangover with a couple of my other friends.
Absolutely classic.
Yeah,
I saw some pretty good costumes. I handed out candy. But there's this one kid, he like came up and he rang the doorbell and I like opened the door and he was like just wearing like a Gap hoodie and he had like this box that was like wrapped in like this green wrapping paper. Okay. And like he had like eyes and like a straight mouth cut out and I was like, what are you supposed to be? And he was like, a creeper. I was
what?
Like, okay.
All right.
Different strokes for different folks. But yeah, so that was probably the most interesting one. Then there was this little kid, he was a Ghostbuster, but Halloween is always so much fun.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's all for this week's episode of GC360. I'm Joby Peoples.
And I'm Cole Rogers. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.